How do authors challenge themselves? I think about that a lot. How about you? How do you, as an author, challenge yourself? When you think about authors, there's a backstory. There's a story that they have, and you'll be seeing that today with our featured author and with some of the other speakers of today. There is a story, just as I had back in 2024 during the leap year. I started a leap year challenge. And the leap year challenge was I invited all of the individuals on my post within my community to answer the question, how does discomfort empower you? How? And what happened was there were many different challenges that they started to perform and that they decided to share with us, all of us in the group. So eventually, a couple of months later, I was told, Marlene, this needs to be a book. Because I was getting loads of stories. There were like sometimes 10 different stories, per post. And so I decided to call it the 500 moments of discomfort. The 500 moments of discomfort is a leap year challenge that started in 2024. And I'm going to have you'll see me coming forward with the group of writers, and I will have them actually on different platforms where you'll get a chance to meet them and you'll get a chance to hear maybe just a little bit about their stories because the book is coming out this year. So so each year I'll have stories. It'll be like a series of at least 5 books, and by 2028, that's when the next leap year comes about. That's when the stories will actually be the 500 stories will be in place or more. I'm looking for there to be even more stories. So that's how I got started. And when I said that, when you talk about your favorite author, think about the story because there are plenty of stories that you'll see in 500 moments of discomfort. I'd like to invite you. Thank you. I want to just actually welcome you here to the Author Challenge. And I'm Marlene Foster with Empower the Vision. And you're going to meet speakers today, and you'll hear about their many hats that they're wearing. You will hear about that today. But the author challenge actually starts off with authors, authors who are looking to deepen the author-reader relationship. And you may ask, how? How would they do that? With number one, Preeti and I just did a podcast, public speaking, case studies, newsletters. There are so many different ways that authors can reach out and deepen their relationship with readers. And that's what Preeti is doing today. She and her son, we're talking about that. We are reaching out to deepen relationships with readers. And readers can then do what? Give feedback and tell us what they really love about our books and what they love about your writing, and actually give you some ideas of how you can then do what? Move forward. In 2025, the latter part of 2025, my first author challenge was with Jose Pereira. And Jose spoke about being in captivity for 5 years, 5 years in Venezuela, being in captivity, reading his book. You know what it actually impacted upon me was that captivity can be what? Internal as well as external. You can feel it. Depression, the different challenges that we have, the stress that you might feel. And external could be maybe a disease or a pain that you feel, or just, again, stress again. But his book talked about captivity. And again, we did the same thing. We did the podcast and other different things. And he told me, he said, Ron, I really enjoyed the time we spent reaching out. And I'm going to tell you what he and his wife did while he was in captivity. They wrote letters to one another, secret letters. Those secret letters turned into the book that he has right now, today. He has a book that he calls that the hero. It's from hero to villain, from hero to villain. And I'm telling you, I mean, it's a fantastic book that you gotta read. Now, for 2026, my first author challenge is with Preeti Balasubramanian and her son. Also, they are the two featured authors for 2026, the first ones of this year that I've been a pleasure, knowing. I mean, truly a pleasure. And I want to say this about Preeti. She's writing a 6-book series on children's books, a 6-book series that she's going to be talking to us today about. And she's also written a nonfiction book. And you'll be hearing about how expertise can do what? It can definitely impact your book sales, because people are reading your book and they see your expertise inside of that book. They see your expertise, and lets them know what more about you. You're answering questions. You're letting them know about the different problems that you can solve for them, and all of that helps you to grow. And as Jose said, when I asked him once, he said, "Marlene, it's your voice. Your voice is what captures readers. They watch you and they hear you and they follow you. That," he said, "is the best way to get people to read your book. Podcasts, public speaking, get out there, reach out to them, do a Q&A, answer questions. And also, and let them invite you to come and do public, speaking for them. They may even have an association of some type that they'd like to invite you to be a part of, to come and speak with." So I want to say that Preeti again will be talking with us about her books, and her son will also let us know about the 2 books he's written. He's written 2 books, and he's working on the 3rd book right now. Phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. So I just want to stop here and ask you, if you are an author, think about coming and being a part of the author challenge, because again, you can definitely broaden your visibility. Readers, you can be challenged. You're challenged because you get a chance to get a free copy of the ebook or a download of the PDF, and you can read the story and write a book review. And then you can team up with someone else to come on to compete along with you. They can read the book, they can write a book review. And the 3 top individuals with the top number of book reviews, because you'll have to reach out now and invite other people to join you in order to be a winner. So the top 3 winners will receive a free book, a signed copy of Preeti's book will be given to you, by her. So I want to tell you, and that is something that you can definitely be ecstatic about. And also, those of you who also read the book and write a book review, if you're not a winner, you're still a winner in our eyes, because I will be talking about you on the Challenge podcast. And I'll also include you in the newsletter. So you will receive visibility if you read the book and you write a book review, even if you're not one of the winners. You are still a winner in our eyes. And you will be those individuals who will be reading about you and say, you actually was a part of the challenge. And you read the book and you wrote the book review. And now you're ready also to get to know even more authors. And now you know what it feels like to develop a closer relationship with an author. And I wanted to just tell you that for now, I'm going to invite our first speaker, okay, who is Preeti. Preeti Balasubramanian is the first speaker today, and I'd like to invite her to join me right now. And she's going to talk about the many hats that she wears. And Preeti, you can go ahead and join me right now, and we will talk about your discussion again that we talked about previously, and that is about the many hats that you yourself have worn. And we spoke about it also on the podcast. So Preeti, you can come on and you can join me. Okay, I'm waiting for Preeti to join, and while I'm waiting for her to join me, I'd like to also say to you that if I have some aspiring authors out there, if you are an aspiring author and right now you don't have a book, you don't have a book, in place at this point, I want you to also know that we also have a plan for aspiring authors, the aspiring authors. Okay. See if I can get, okay, just a second. See if I can get Preeti up to the stage. And that's what I'm doing now to get her here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Marlene.
All right. Hello. And let me say this to all of you. Then, as you know, I always talk about the unexpected, and we always have to do what? Learn how to what? Just little exhale, and just all I thought about was we gotta get, keep on searching until we get it right. All right. So we're here with you. So Preeti is the featured author, the first featured author for the Author Challenge for 2026. And so we spoke a lot, Preeti, during the podcast about the many hats that women wear. Can you give us just an example of you and the hats that you definitely wear?
Okay, so I think like if you ask me like for the different hats, and I would say like of course the family side. So like as the mother, the daughter, the wife, so that the family side is one of them. And two is, as Marlene mentioned, I am also a children's book author. And three is I have my own business offering business coaching and consulting to small and solopreneurs. So those are like my main three hats that I wear.
And it's funny though, that, when we were actually on the podcast, I thought about, with you writing a series of 6 books, and you got the nonfiction book that you're writing as well, plus the business that you're doing. And in addition, you also work with me and some others. And pretty seriously, how do you happen to, and I'm not going to say the word balance because there's no way. No, you're not talked about. There is no balance when you think about the many hats that all of us wear. It's not I'm gonna say balance. I say prioritize, because there's a time when family has to kind of take the front seat, and then there's times when you have to put a little bit over here on the business side, but you have to almost like just go back and forth with it. But all of what you're doing though, you personally, I know you say you have some support, but you personally, how do you actually help to manage so much? You personally, just you. Do you
So,
exercise? Stand on your head? What do you do? I want to know how you manage it. How do you manage all of that?
no, like I think, like you said, yes, it's more like what's more priority today, now kind of thing. So I think, and like you said, yes, I do also agree that it isn't balanced, because when it's 50-50, then it's balanced, because in this, it's never an equal balance like that. So I would rather say it's more of you sway from one to another. It's more swaying from one to another, and it's not balancing. But I would say, like for me, if I am currently doing my business thing, then whether it's that half an hour or 1 hour that I'm doing my business thing, I give my 100% when I do that. And then when I'm doing my authoring, I give my 100% to that. And then when I'm a parent or like doing the other family related thing, then I give 100% there. But it's like small pockets. Now you're 100% here, then you're 100% here, and then you're 100% here. So, and it's swaying between different things depending on which gets higher priority.
And then you said also that what while you like your son, he took some type of taekwondo or the different. Okay, you also write, don't you? You write when they're busy doing their activities too, right? So you sit
Yes,
there, you kind
so
of sit off
so
in the
most
corner.
of yeah, so mostly between like 9 to 4, 9 to 5, when I'm is when I do more of my actual work, my business side of things, and supporting clients and all of that is between like 9 to 3, 9 to 4, and almost all of my book writing has happened in the evenings when I'm sitting in the sidelines watching my kids do taekwondo or kids do swimming or kids do other things. So it's most of my writings happened there.
But okay, let me ask you this: but do you ever? What about mornings? Do you ever have an opportunity to write during the morning hours? I know you work sometimes during the morning, but what about write?
No, mornings are like, yes, sometimes like during the day, yes, if I have like time between my client work or between my calls, then yes, sometimes I have written during the day. But the mornings, no, because as Marlene knows, I have my daughter is still quite small, so which then means mornings are mostly getting her ready or like getting their food and lunch packed and them off to school and all of that. So mornings are usually family time, doing all the family related stuff.
But you know what, Prakriti, just like I always tell you, I get those little tweaks or messages sometimes, just giving me great ideas. But might happen between 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. When do yours hit? Mine is early in the morning. What about you?
No, like, yeah, sometimes I do that. Like, mostly, I think for me, it's more the nights. Like, when I go to bed and I'm trying to get the kids to sleep and then me go to sleep, that's when sometimes I get ideas. And yeah, usually I would make a note of it on my phone, like open the notes app and put something there, or sometimes just add a small voice note or something that I can come back to the next day. So then I know, oh, okay, yeah, I have to do that, or I need to remember to do that, or like I have that idea. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. What you know what? Because yeah, think about also. I remember when my daughter was really small, and I wasn't really writing books back then, but I did write a lot of poetry. I was a poet. I've got poems. I can't believe it. I'm running across right now. But do you ever look back sometimes on your writing, though, Preeti, and you see that it's different from what you're not that it's bad or anything, but some of the writing that I had previously, I'm running across. I look at it, I say, wait a minute, who wrote that? And then once I read over it, I'm looking at it, I discover it's my writing. It's
Mhm.
my writing. And actually I said, wow, you sound like a different person. And it's actually really good writing. It's actually good writing, but it sounds like somebody different. And I said, and you ever do that sometimes with when you look back sometimes at your,
Yeah, so
previous books?
like for like you said, like back when I was in school and college, like I have written also like a lot of poetry for my like school magazines and school newsletters, and like written essays and paper presentations when I was in college and all of those. But then yeah, I think like from there to now, my writing style or what I write about and how I articulate things have changed quite a bit. Yes, definitely, because yeah, I think like your overall experience, right? Like everything you go through in life, like adds layers to your understanding, adds layers to your maturity, and I think that reflects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this, and I know everybody's going to be meeting your son, Pranav, a little later, but Just tell me honestly how proud you are of him with his writing and everything. Just I ask you this on the podcast. I'm asking you this now, just the two of us here together. Tell me how you feel about the progress that your son has made as an author.
No, and I think I also did mention to you, I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast, but then with the writing and actually writing and publishing books, he was the one who actually started writing first. So he was already working on his first novel, the Rick Brown novel, and uh, that's when I kind of started, in fact, looking into like publishing and how to get a publisher, or should I go through an agency, should I self publish. So that's when I started exploring those options. And at that point in time, like some of my other colleagues and people in my circle, they told me that, to Marlene's point, like how you can use your own knowledge or your thing into how you can convert that into a book, and how that book can get you that visibility or get you those clients or that outreach. And that's when I first wrote my nonfiction book. So I wrote that, and basically the inspiration behind me getting into writing is my son, because he was already writing at that time.
Oh,
So yeah, so he
beautiful.
started writing first, though my book got published first, but he was the one who started writing first.
So that, just and when everyone meets your son, they'll see what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, you got him so. I told you, he's got he has this wisdom about him, a maturity that you don't see, in young, you see in teenagers his age. I mean, just mature. Truly, he truly is. And that's why I said, I just wanted to ask you again how you felt, honey, about the progress he's made, the growth he's taken. Like he talked about helping you out at school in the library, right? He
Mhm.
helps out at the library. Look at him. He's working already. And now young men, some men don't like to work. And then her son is
No,
working.
and like his school librarian has told me that on so during the winter months, so because all the kids cannot go out during the lunch break and play, they open up their library like a cafe where the kids are allowed to spend time during their lunch break in the library. So borrow books, return books, photocopy things, and all of that they're allowed to do during the lunchtime. And during the lunchtime, the librarian basically just hands over the library to my son. He handles the entire library. She isn't even there. So yeah, so she was like, she told me, oh, Pranav can handle the library for me. He runs my library for me.
What? That's great. That, like I said, and your books though, I loved. And I know it's coming up, but I really liked what you wrote about. The book and how it really appeals to little girls. And you said how, yeah, a lot of the mothers that you've met, here, actually here in the United States, really enjoy your book. They
Hmm.
really enjoy it. And I said, I mean, wow. And I love what you said about it, how, little girls, that little special moment, like you were saying, not like Cinderella needing help. You see it that your character does it on her own.
Hmm.
That's it. That's right. I said, now that itself is powerful. Now, I'm looking here, girl, looking at the time and look like I've got, because I have several speakers today. And okay, I've got Pauline Crawford who will be coming up next. So I will be seeing the featured author. Preeti will be joining me again. She'll be coming back. So right now I want to go ahead and I'll just go ahead and I will speak with Pauline. But Preeti, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there, Marlene.
Hello, how are you today? I'm trying to, do I have you on the stage? I'm trying to get, because I still see Preeti as well, but you, okay, it's okay. I'm seeing that, I see you here. Oh, there you go. There we are. Okay.
There we go.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
That's good. I'm here. I think you're doing a grand job here.
You know
Well,
what? You know what? It is, I love this. I love actually talking about the many hats because, and as you know, because ever since I've known you, you have definitely worn multiple hats, Pauline. No, I'm serious. And I want you, if you will today, share with us about your expertise and talk to us also about what you shared that happened over in Africa. I would love to hear about that, but just tell us about you and and share your experience, please.
absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm Dr. Pauline Crawford, and my passion is authentic harmony. So there's my book, The Power of Authentic Harmony. But it's about how women and men really understand the power that we have together when we create harmony. And I'm very blessed to be an international traveler. I went to Africa last July, and I was so joyful to be there on the stage with so many different people. And really, I always say to myself, people are people everywhere in the world. So why don't we get on and really enjoy our life together? And yeah, we in that conference, I had many hats. I had my university hat, and I gave awards to two amazing queens, Queen Mother Dr. Nana from Ghana, and Her Royal Majesty Hosi Gabrielle Rocker from South Africa. And then I took my hat off and I did a session with all the women, and I talked about how, as women, we own half of the world. So how can we create a joint custody world of harmony? And then I took another hat off and I put on my hat for young entrepreneurs. So there were these beautiful mid-20s entrepreneurs that I've been working with online. And I met them in person. And they got on stage and presented their businesses. And that was so exciting. My hat as a mentor. And it was wonderful to meet them in person and understand the trials and tribulations that they have in their mid-20s, having created small businesses and looking for money. That's what we all need, is some venture capital. So I have lots of different hats. And of course, I am a mom and a grandma and a baby boomer and a British woman.
You know
And I
what,
live
baby? Baby boomer, join the club. Yeah, I'm with you. I
absolutely. And I think actually this idea of wearing many hats is a significant part of why women are tremendously powerful in the world, and not in a political or a controlling sense, but as an energy. You know, we have the energy of thinking multiple layers at once. Men don't understand us. That's one of my expertise, is studying men and women, gender dynamics, intelligence. But I think women have a big opportunity in 2026, and that we need to really step back to step forward and say, oh, the world can be designed differently. We don't need to do it all the same old way. If it's hurting, don't do it. So I say, you know, if you want harmony, then you have no harm. So if you're in a harmful position, a harmful place, see how you can move away from it. How can you get into your own bubble, breathe, relax, and look out and see the love in the world? Would you agree, Marlene?
exactly right. I was actually reading your newsletter, and the word that stood out for me, actually, inclusivity. I said, I love that. I love that, Pauline, because you are absolutely right. We do have to learn and I know we as baby boomers, we definitely have acquired a lot of knowledge, and then we've got a lot of love to give and harmony to share, with the world. And we want to be able to share it, with the younger generations. And also we want to learn from the younger generation. We want to learn from you. None of us know everything. We want to learn.
Yes, and I call that intergenerational wisdom. You see, there's 50% of the world is under 30. which means 50% of the world is over 30, which is obviously where you and I live. But actually sharing both ways, I call it a wisdom waterfall. You know, what do we give that flows and flows and flows? And the key thing is we need to listen with a different mindset for, you know, kids in their teens, young adults in their 20s, young parents in their 30s, entrepreneurs in their 40s, 50s, whoever it is. And if we are not sure that we agree, we don't need to fight about it. We just need to go, that's an interesting perspective. Let me think about that. And this is what I call magical conversations. And it's not whimsical, it's very constructive. You found that in my book, that, you know, a magical conversation means we come to the conversation looking to contribute and not judge. We come to share an experience, but not overload. We come to listen and create new. And we might not all do it at the same pace. And that's really important, that we don't hurry people along who are not ready. We just listen, observe, act outside of the magical conversation. But you always know if you're in a magical conversation, very simple, you feel happy. And you feel like you're being listened to.
You know what, wonderful. And that's like, you and I have, we've spoken, and you've spoken to us also in some of the, meetings that about public speaking with women. And and a lot of us know this is true, that when I'm looking at people who speak to me and they'll talk about, the public speaking, and they'll say, Ramona, you ever thought about this and thought about maybe try? I said, absolutely. And they said, but right now, most of the speakers are male. Most of them are. And I said, you know what? Great. I said, but look at the females. We bring such a different perspective. We truly do, Pauline. When when you hear women speak, you definitely hear something completely different. And and that's what people need. Audiences need that. Not the same thing repetitively, but differences, different perspectives. A woman's perspective that could actually appeal to a male audience.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important to understand that I heard this recently, that if you want to be really powerful, you don't need to shout. So power is not the usual old-fashioned control and command. And I think women have a great presence of celerity and glow and flow, and just being in our own skins, being in our own hat, whatever hat that might be, and wear it with great gusto. This is my hat and I'm here today, but you don't need to shout, and we don't need to fight, and we don't need to do anything that's harmful. That's my mantra.
Because you're right, though. That's very, very true. And and that's with you're right, with our children or with whoever we're aligning ourselves with or collaborating with. You're right, because when you look at it, there's a problem that you're looking to solve, and there are different perspectives. People are talking about different ways to do it. Like you said, listen, and you know what, you could take a little bit from here, a little bit from over there, and you'll come up with a great idea of how to proceed.
Absolutely. And I think there is no lack of ideas. Anybody who says, oh my God, there's nothing I can do, well, they're not looking in the right place. So with our University of Entrepreneurology, we say that we need to be the mindset of an opportunity seeker, not a problem solver. We have a very old world of traditional education, which is all about solving problems, finding the right answer, getting the grade. No, we don't need that. What we need is to say, well, there's so much chaos in the world. It means there's a lot of opportunities. I want to seek opportunities, because when you seek opportunities, you will solve problems. But if you start by solving a problem, you will limit yourself by what that problem is, whereas opportunities are infinite. So what we say in our university is we need to use our imagination. Knowledge is important, yes, but experience is more important, and imagination is the secret sauce. That's what makes people like Steve Jobs and famous entrepreneurs think of some idea and keep on growing it. That's what we need in the world. And it could be a little idea or a big idea. That's okay. And women have a million ideas a day and a
Mm.
million that we don't look after.
You know what? Now you're right about that. When you said imagination, you know, what came to my mind Einstein. Einstein talks about imagination.
Yes.
He does. You ever read about him talking about imagination? And that
Yes.
is true, Pauline, very true. Imagination is powerful.
Well, what's really interesting, and it's such a simple observation, but imagination is infinite,
Mm.
whereas knowledge is finite. Yes, you need knowledge if you're going to be a dentist or a lawyer, or even if you're going to be a cook or whatever you're going to be, you need to know some substance. But what you do with it and how you imagine, so you could take the same food and imagine it as some superb new concoction and create it. You're not limited by the food that you select. And that's the truth for every single thing we have in our life. We can do more with it. And I think women have been controlled too much by the old narrative that said, oh, no, you can't do that. Well, you can. Women make amazing businesses, especially businesses that are made for women, because men are not going to make businesses for women. So think about products that are for women, hats that women wear, and make those products and services. That's what I think is the answer. And as we tip the balance of how we create the land scale of women-led businesses, the men will come and join us because we'll be making all the money.
But Pauline, you just think back historically and look at the women. And there were some strong women back then, and those men knew how strong those women were. Because even when you look at nomads and a lot of them who travel, for survival purposes, in order to actually survive, and how women came up with a lot of great. I'm a historian, so I know about those ideas that women had, Pauline, that helped the tribes to survive. And the men, of course, were in the leadership role, but
Yeah.
the smart men listened.
Yeah. Well, I think, again, the words are very powerful. So whenever you feel that you're just surviving, say, how can I thrive? And it doesn't mean that you need to make $1 million that day. Maybe it means you just need to smile more or go outside and breathe the air more. There's lots of ways that you can bring richness into your life. And that's always the start. As long as we limit ourselves, we will be limited. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Very true. Because I like what I was talking to Preeti earlier, and she was saying start and restart. Because I do this a lot. I reinforce things. Pauline, I don't just come up with something and say, okay, all right, that's it. My mind continues to fine tune and find different ways to make it better than it was yesterday. And that's how we can do it when we have people with us alongside of us. Because I love to hear feedback. I love feedback.
And I think it's also very important to go slow sometimes. There's so much noise and so much speed and so much challenge in the world today. Sometimes it's okay to go slow or even stop. As long as you're thinking positively, it's okay. And those things that need to come to you will come to you.
Very, very true. Pauline, I just wanted to thank you so very much for, joining us, today, and your expertise is powerful. And I'm looking forward to, one day featuring you as a guest, in the author challenge. And so we can do the podcast together and do so many other things, case studies. I do a lot of things with the within the challenge. And I would love to be able to do that, with you. So I hope that you will consider, actually, joining us.
Absolutely. I'm there for you, Marlene, anytime. And to all the
Right.
women watching today, remember to keep smiling. That's the most important thing.
Exactly. And and listen, I'll say this to you, and you stay beautiful, all right? Do that.
What was that?
I said you stay beautiful inside and out, okay?
Oh,
You.
yes. Yes. Remember, even when the outside looks terrible, your day is going bad. Remember, inside, you're in control. Nobody
Exactly.
outside you. That's important.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us, okay? For joining us today.
Okay.
Thank you,
Take care.
Pauline.
Bye to
Thank
everybody.
you. Enjoy your day.
Bye.
Okay, the next speaker actually will be Constance Johnson. The Constance will be joining us. There she is.
Marlene, can you hear me?
Hello, Constance.
How are you?
How are you today?
Fine. It's been a busy day, but I'm fine. How about you?
I am wonderful. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for all of this wealth of knowledge that I can actually really though to be a part of. This is glorious for me to be here with all of you. And I want to tell you that
And it's a pleasure to be here.
okay. Can you hear me? Because I can barely hear you. Can you hear me,
Really?
Constance?
I can hear you loud and clear. My volume, I'm going to make sure my volume's on maximum. It's on maximum. I don't know why. Oh, am I really quiet?
Okay, I can hear. Okay, I can.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can hear you now. But I want to say to you that each time, Constance, that I read your newsletters and I read a lot. I read more of your comments than you think I do.
Oh,
On
Marlene,
LinkedIn.
I'm really happy to hear that.
I do, and I mean, but when I do, it just makes me even more. I realize how great it is for me to be able to learn from you, because as I read them, I learn. I'm always looking to learn, and so as I read what you're saying and I read your newsletters, they are so strong. You have such a strong communication, Constance. You really do. And
That is fantastic feedback. Thank you, Marlene. That makes me feel really good to hear that. Because in our line of business, we don't really get feedback. We have clients, then the next one comes along. So, so it's really, that makes my heart smile.
I'm here to tell you that you do it, because I was reading something you wrote today. I said, "Wow, she is just impeccable." I mean, your knowledge base, your charisma, and I wanted to say this to you. And I noticed that a lot of the men enjoy your writing. The men enjoy you. I said, you know what? And look, the men and me. Because I see more men. Huh?
That's lovely feedback because I write from the heart, I write from my experience, but I don't know how it's interpreted when someone reads it. So you saying that to me is really good to hear.
Yeah, I was looking at it, just today. But if you will, just tell the audience, tell everybody about yourself, and and also tell them about what you do, and also some of the many hats that you wear, Constance.
Yes, I wear 3 hats. I wear executive branding C-suite, resume CV writing, and interview coaching. I'm a busy lady.
Okay, and let me say, and when you of the 3 though, what would you say has the most you give really? If you said, "Mom, if I had to get gauge out of from the 3 you just mentioned, which has the most priority for you that you've seen lately that more people are saying, I need this. This is something I really need, Constance.
It's the
Truly need this."
absolutely, it's the executive branding on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, because if you're looking for a role, that's the first place a potential recruiter or headhunter will find you, and they'll want to read about you.
Mm-hmm.
So the words that you use in your LinkedIn profile is the first impression that anyone gets of you. So that has to be 100% perfect or aligned to the line of business that you want to work in.
And see, you know what? And you and I have spoken a while, because I've done more than one podcast with you, and
Yes.
you always talk with me about you, Marlene. Just like I was reading again today about you, and that's the signals that a lot of executive officers use, and they're not, as you were saying, they're not clear, and you have to clarify what you're saying, and you have to be able to demonstrate it. She's like you said,
Absolutely.
outcomes, show outcomes.
Absolutely, Marlene. I work on facts versus evidence. So if you are a financial director, you don't need to say you're a financial director. Can you talk about your role without saying I'm a financial director or I'm a CEO, I'm a CFO? Can you do that? Because when you go for an interview or a headhunter calls you, they already know what you do. So you're actually wasting time by saying I'm a finance director, I'm a car sales director. They know what you already do. So talk about achievements, talk about um, your increase in sales. Talk about those are signals. Signals are evidence. So and a really good analogy is if you meet someone and you like them, you're listening for signals. And when you, or they're a nice person, or they're family orientated, or they go to church, for example. So when someone says the signals you want to hear, you start to imagine them as a partner. That is no different in recruitment. They're listening for signals. They don't want to hear about your job or what you do. They already know that. Yes? They want to hear about your past successes because that is a signal. Your past successes tells a headhunter, hiring manager, or recruiter that if you can achieve £1 million or dollars in sales in 12 months, that you will do the same for them. So it's about giving out the signals they want to hear. Yes.
See,
All
wonderful.
signals.
I mean, absolutely. And you know what? And all of us, honestly, though, and that's why I can never, I'm just gonna say it out for everybody to hear me. I can very seldom get a hold of this woman. She is always, I'm not gonna say busy. She is always, I mean, people are grabbing a hold to her and meeting with her. She's in high demand because you already know communication is what? Number one. If you
Number
don't
one.
have the communication in line,
Yes, and I
who's
think
going to?
also as well, what's happening, I'm getting more attention because last year I was honoured to receive the Outstanding Business of the Year award, and that reflects the quality of my work and the ability to balance, you know, and switch between the all three hats. So I'm getting more well known, more famous, if you will, because of that. More people are knowing about me and understanding how I work. I talk about signals. I talk about communication strategy. I say, can you tell me about yourself without
Mhm.
mentioning your job title? So if I said to you, Marlene, tell me about yourself, but don't tell me what you do. That's hard,
Okay.
isn't it? If
Well,
I say that to you,
and it is, but I gotta be honest with you though, because when somebody does ask me, okay, I'll talk about the customer themselves. I'll say that, for instance, I help business owners. Yeah, help them to be able to become more visible. Create visibility, and also if they're to restart and start and restart whatever they're doing, don't fall back and feel that okay, I have failed now, but become more adaptable. I talked about adaptability a lot. I talk about, you're right, those, I talk about skills, soft skills and that kind of thing. That's what I discuss. I talk
okay,
about
that's
those.
great. One word I would swap, you say you help.
Yes, help,
Is
take
that a
help out.
signal? If you say I support business owners, that is a signal.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you could be
Thank
helping
you.
them cross the road, what you're supporting businesses to be
Mhm.
successful. That's how I perceive you. So if someone said who's Marlene Foster supports women to
I like it.
achieve their
Yes.
goals. So that's a signal that I want to listen. People want to listen more
Mhm.
because you use the word support. It's certain words that are signals. Does that make
You
sense?
see that? Wonderful. Thank you. And see, and that's what we all need. And we have to keep our minds so to be open-minded and be willing to accept and learn when someone reads your newsletters, or if you're speaking to your clientele, open-minded enough to take it and say, I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna try that. I'm getting ready to do it. Take it and move forward. You're right, forward with that. And then people who are reading, the readers, how do you build your because you're an author-reader relationship within your newsletter. How would you say you actually are building it?
Okay, right. I write from the client's perspective. I want to know what their pain points are. It might be work-life balance. It might be not enough money. It might be dissatisfaction in the role. So if someone tells me they're dissatisfied in the role, tell me what would make you happy. And I might write about that. Because that person is telling me that they're unhappy in their role, not getting development. I might write about that. Someone tells me that they've gone for several interviews at a higher level. They get into the interview stage, not getting any further. It's a mindset change because they are saying, they're reading their job description in the interview, they're saying what they do, they're not saying what they've achieved, it's trigger words I'm looking for, signal words, support, lead,
I like
collaborate.
that. I
It's
like that.
certain words. You think, oh, this
Mhm.
person collaborates. You could say, if it was you, Marlene, I was talking about writing about you. I would say that Marlene supports and collaborates with businesswomen to ensure that they achieve their required career goals. So it's there in just saying that. That's a wow. That's a signal. Oh, I want to
Mhm.
work with Marlene because
Mhm.
look at the words I used: support, collaborate. You're going to help me achieve my career goal.
Wonderful. You know what? Absolutely. What about case studies?
Case studies I use anonymously from clients, and I use what they say to me, their pain point, their challenges, their what they want to achieve. Because some people have been in the job for say 10 years, and then somebody comes into, and then somebody who's been working, a colleague working with them, has been with them for 2 years in the company, but they've got it promoted ahead of somebody who's been there 10 years. That's because the colleague who's been there 2 years has said the right signals. They've told the hiring manager what they want to hear. They talk about achievements. They talk about results they've done. They don't talk about their job. They talk about what they've done. And I always say to clients, don't tell me what you've done or what you do. Tell me what
Mhm.
you've achieved. So I'd always start with their story, when they left school, left university, what they did, awards they've won. I want to hear the whole life story. And from their whole life story, I can then write about them. So that is a case study in itself. Every client is a case study, really.
Sure is.
Yeah,
You know, I hadn't thought about that. Well, it actually is.
yeah. Every
Uh-huh. You know
yeah.
what? It is. And you have always, each time I've spoken with you, you always say, Marlene, and it is. We really have to watch how we communicate. And like you said, people don't want, and can be honest with you, Constance, when I'm reading about someone, when you just said, I don't want to hear all of that either. It's like an echo of something going
Noise,
on.
is that noise?
I don't want to hear that. I don't. I just want you to do what? Get to the point with me. Just get to the
Absolutely.
point.
So if
I
someone
do.
said, what does Marlene do? I get straight to the point.
Exactly. Exactly. And what you're saying, and I do, girl, you are admirable. I really admire that your writing is so strong. And I really would listen, tell anybody who's listening today, Constance is someone you definitely want to get in contact with. You want to connect with her. Strengthen your writing, be open-minded, and she will be right there alongside of you, helping you. So like I said, open doors that actually open doors that you hadn't even recognized that were closed. And she's
Yeah.
showing you different, because some doors, you're right, we don't even pay attention to, do we? Until someone helps us and we can walk up and be able to see. And our vision is clearer. The clarity is there, like, as you were saying, you got to have clarity. And I promise you that I recognize that so much.
Hmm.
Recognize it. So
Because when
just
people, Absolutely, Molly. I'll give you an example. One of the things I do is review a CV or resume, and it's not written from the hiring manager's perspective. It's written from their perspective. So what I mean by that is they just talk about different jobs they've done. There's no story. The hiring manager can't get a sense of who the person is. So it's about I change their minds, I support them to change their mindset in how they communicate their skills, knowledge, and experience.
Hmm. Wow. And when I always want to ask you this though, you're some of the clientele that do come, to see you though, are some of them a little bit sort of hard pressed and don't know if they just want to they're afraid to change or don't know how to change or just uncomfortable at this point. Do
Okay,
you do
right.
you want
It's always an uncomfortable process because it's like I'm asking are you right-handed? If you're right-handed, I'm asking you to write with your left hand, and that's hard. Or if you're left-handed, I'm asking you to write with your right hand. I'm asking you to change something you've always done, and that is hard and challenging. And that's where my support comes in. I have practice interview sessions, as many, I don't limit them because they'll start off talking job description. I manage a team of 20 people. What does that actually mean? Who do you manage? You know,
Wow.
what are their key performance indicators? How do you support them? How do you coach them? How do you mentor them? Telling me you manage a team of 20 people, that's just noise, Marlene. It means,
It is noise. It is. I agree because it is 20
yeah,
people. 20 people that do what?
yes,
Do you specify team building? Do you help them with leadership qualities? Do you
mentoring, coaching. What do you do? You just told
exactly?
me, yeah, you see the difference now. So, yeah. And how do you build?
Wow. Oh, but look, I want to just thank you so much for being here with us today. And again, I want to tell everybody, please, communication, you are looking at her. You're looking at someone who can definitely open some doors for you, doors that you didn't know were there. And I want would you like to just briefly say something that you exit? I want them to hear from you. Just briefly tell us
Okay,
what you would like to.
anyone who is looking for a role and they can't get a role, or they've gone for lots of they can't get to the interview stage, or they're getting to the interview stage, but that's as far as they're getting, right? Contact me because I can help with interview coaching. I'm focused on your executive brand, teaching you to write with your left hand instead of your right. I teach you how to promote yourself. Don't say support, say I lead.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, but I'm
What,
always here to help.
and listen, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's a
Molly,
pleasure. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you so much for inviting me. It's been my pleasure to be here. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
speaking to you soon.
Absolutely. And enjoy your day, okay?
And you too.
Thank-
Thank you, Marlene. Goodbye.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye, sweetie. Okay, I was trying to see how to, you know what, because I thought you were next, but I see Anna McCabe. So if she, you know what, if Anna is, there you are. And you know what, and Preeti, you should stay where you are, okay? Anna, hey, it's a pleasure. Pleasure having you here with us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So I
Listen,
think I'm a little early, so I just wanted to pop on and watch, to be honest with
okay, okay,
you.
that is fine. Okay, listen, and Preeti's used to it. This is usually me and Preeti, Praval. So she's great. But I want okay now, Preeti. Okay, you and I are going to talk about career, right? And your career and your book. How books can empower expertise. And you and I talked about that previously. And I wanted to just start off by asking you, how do you feel your nonfiction book has actually empowered your expertise?
Okay. So thank you. And in fact, like before I go into that, I wanted to add a little bit about what I heard from the previous speakers.
Okay,
So
sure.
I think like, and so with Pauline, like I really liked how she spoke about like if you limit yourself, that's how you're limiting yourself. So that I think that self-limiting thing that I think women do more than men. I think that's something that actually keeps us from achieving what we actually can achieve. And I think that really like resonated with me when she spoke. And with Constance again, like when she spoke about those signals or those words, and like I think like that is the same thing. Like when you're, for me, like when I speak to a client, instead of saying, I will do this, this, and this, instead it's more like, I will support you to achieve this, this, and this. That
Mhm.
kind of resonates better. And if you're
It does.
talking to that person's problem rather than just solutions, because like it seems like solutions to you, but then when they are looking at the problem, they need to understand that you understand their problem and you're meeting them at the problem. So I think that also like resonated with me when Constance mentioned that. And now to like my book. So my nonfiction book is this one. So this is my book called The Ease Equation, and this is like, or this is the framework I use behind supporting my clients or my coaching framework. So this basically is an outcome of my 15, 16 years of corporate experience and experience working with solopreneurs and small businesses, and how I see that a lot of, especially small businesses and solopreneurs, they are great at what they do. They have a mission, they have like a vision why they started their business or why they do what they're doing, but then the business grows and they get to a point where now the growth actually feels heavy instead of feeling nice, and it's the weight of them doing everything themselves. The So this book talks about how having systems in place, having your circle of support can actually help you grow more sustainably without having the burnout. And to Marlene's point about how the book helped me is, I've had people read the book and then reach out to me saying, oh, I liked what you've written in the book, can you help me do that in my business? And that's led to me getting a couple of clients, or getting uh, like offers to speak on somebody else's stage or on their podcast, because of what they read in the book, and they found that there is value, or there is yeah, so or it spoke to a problem that they are facing. So I think that way that's helped me get more visibility, get me more outreach.
See, that's wonderful. Thank you, for sharing that, because there's so many people who write books, and the only mission they have in life is to sell a book. And you know what? That's not. I've always wanted, when writing a book, I've always thought about, oh gosh, I'm so excited. I've got my co-author book right now, and then I've got two books that I'm writing, and I promise you, my focus is not just making money from books. I'm looking at the expertise part of it, the public speaking, the like you were saying, the workshops that I could do, just the way you could actually reach out and actually deepen relationships with readers. That's what I look forward to doing. And that's what the author challenge is all about. And so I agree. I mean, when you have a book, you're gonna sell books. But what is it that you can do now, 10 years from now, something that you could still have in place 10, 20, 30 years from now, something that's continuous, and that is your expertise. Your expertise. And your expertise, as Jose always said, your voice is your voice. People follow your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're talking about, whatever your actions are, whatever the outcome that you show, that, as Constance mentioned, that's what people are looking at. That's what they see. That's the key right there. So when you're looking at what can I do to market myself or that kind of thing, your voice does it.
Mm-hmm.
People are listening to you.
Mm-hmm. And also, like what Constance said, like whether it's LinkedIn or anywhere, I think it's now more quality over quantity. Like even now, like even on the LinkedIn platform, like they have their new backend system that now prioritizes more clarity over quantity
Mhm.
of how much you're posting. And now they have that AI driven backend system, the Brew 360, which actually sees, like even when whatever you post, when it's been shown to the other people, it sees whether what you're talking matches what they are talking about. Are they talking about the same thing? So it will only highlight your post to people who actually want to see that post, for whom it actually matters. So earlier it used to be like, okay, if I posted every day, then I got more visibility. You don't get that anymore. It's like even on the systems level, they are prioritizing clarity over just random posting things.
Yeah, because you just think if you were to put and you're looking for someone, you're trying to fill a position, and then all the individuals who are responding are telling you what their job title is, and as you were saying previously, and I have what I manage 22 people. What are you doing with them? That's like me giving you the ingredients for a soup, but I tell you, not no, me giving you the name of the soup, but I forgot the ingredients. I did not tell you how to even do what to how to cook the soup.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta the name there, and you go, okay, all right, I got the name. I know how long it takes to for it to cook. I know how long to simmer it, but give me the ingredients, would you? And so that's what you were saying about, you say I manage 22, 30 people, but you don't say what it is that you've done for them. What's the outcome?
Yeah, I think like that again, like when I was in HR, like I know when people tell me that about, especially that's something a lot of people get confused, is managing and leadership. Managing does not always mean leadership. You can be part of management, you can have a manager title, you can have a fancy title, but then you aren't a leader as until you're mentoring your team, you're grooming your team, you're helping them grow. That's a leader. You can just manage. That's it. They are two different things. And a lot of people assume that if they are in a leadership or a management position, they are managing, but that's not true leadership.
Because it's not. No, it's not. It is not. It's like she was just saying that isn't that nice when you can look on a resume and see outcomes? When was the last time you looked at one and just actually saw outcomes that something that they had accomplished?
Mm-hmm.
The outcome of something. And we don't see that, do we? It's just a lot of words, as she was saying. It's a lot of it's like even if in a movie or even in a story, people don't want to hear a whole lot of storytelling. They want to see what, as your son was even talking about the other day. The climax here, the what's going on over here, and then I see some action. What's going on? But if it's all about just words, nothing but words, and no action, then people they will get tired of, because actually I've been reading resumes before and I got tired of reading. I
Mm-hmm.
just took it and shredded it because it was so sorry. I don't mean to sound, but it just oh, come on, Anna, it was too much. It was so time consuming, and then actually sitting there and reading some resumes make you want to go to lunch.
I'd love to add to that. So I recently got thrown into a little bit of HR at my current job, and we just opened up a very large role. And so many resumes came in. And to be honest, we only looked at like the top 40. And then we just stopped. We just found the best people out of the top 40 and moved forward with those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, you don't have time for that, do you? You want to just, exactly, you want to get straight to the point. Who is it who fits the criteria that I've got here? Who fits this? Do
Mm-hmm.
you fit it? Okay, it's like a shoe. Can you see a woman walking in a shoe store and the shoe is a size 5 and she's a size 10? Can you picture that right now, what that looks like? And that's what people do when they're communicating. That's what they do. It's exactly what takes place. Instead of accuracy, precision, and getting straight to the point. Or if you even see, if they read the description, they see that it's not going to be something that will be a good fit for them, which I've told someone, I said, look, I'm not even going to take up your time because I see what because they liked me, but when I read what they had, I said, no, I won't, I'm not what you're looking for. I can see that I'm not. I
Mm-hmm.
could see that immediately. I said no. And then when they asked me, well, what is it that you're talking about, Marlene? And when I finally told, I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because you're right. I do need this. And you said that that's not something that, that you do. And they said, thank you. Thank you so much for that. He said, more people could just, be honest about it. Be honest
Yeah,
about
no, and
themselves.
and to your point, I think like whether it's personal relationships or career or recruitment or a client and client relationship, I think that mutual alignment is required. Like, yeah, one person can like the way the other person operates or functions, but then if the mutual alignment is not there, you're not going to get the outcomes. You're not going to get the results.
Mhm. You won't, but I was just going to. This is okay now. Anna, I wanted to ask you, girl. You said that did you tell me there was some type of you are a, is it a singer, and are you, is some type of because I was looking at you, I said, man, I gotta ask her about that. I'm trying to remember what
Oh yeah.
you're
So
entertainers.
I actually have a bachelor's and a master's in music from the Manhattan School of Music with a concentration in operatic studies. So
Opera.
yeah, so I am a classically trained singer from a conservatory in New York City and ended up nowhere where that was going. So my resume takes me all over the place, but I basically started as like a receptionist at a hedge fund. And I was there for 5 years and I grew into an executive assistant role there. And then I moved on from there to another executive assistant role at a mental health company. Then I moved into a personal assistant, executive assistant, facilities management and office management role at a robotics company. And now I am the manager of business operations at a different medical robotics firm. So I've just been all over the place.
Well, okay, but that's how we become more, don't we, Preeti? We become more experienced.
Mhm.
We all do. We do.
Yeah, well,
And
you have to learn from everything you touch.
mhm.
So, there have been times like in the last year or two where senior leadership has come to me and said, "Do you think you can handle this?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll figure it out, I guess. If I have questions, I'll come find you."
Yeah, and I was earlier telling Marlene too, right? Like my career was also like it has been like all ups and downs and all over the place, even physically, because like I started my career in India. I been in UK for a couple of years, came back to India, and then now I am in Canada. So it's like every time you change places or change things, you like almost restart at the beginning because
Mhm.
one country does not validate or does not accept your experiences from another, and then you have to reprove yourself, reestablish yourself. You have to remake them realize that, oh yes, I have this experience and I can actually do this, and all over you're restarting again and again. But then again, to your point, like every change or everything you go through teaches you something. You're learning something new from there, you're picking up something new from there, which adds to adds to you as a person, adds another layer of your maturity, which you can take forward from there.
Mhm.
Sure.
Mhm. You know what? So true. Just like in my business, when I'm talking to clients about business protection and the unexpected that could come your way, and unexpected, and just as you always have health insurance in place in case your child needs coverage. That's what you do for business, but you know that if something does happen, if something, let's say if something happens, as happened to my granddaughter once, and I couldn't get her to the hospital, guys. So I had to do what? I had to become more adaptable. I had to think about some natural type of, remedies I could do. And it was during that ice storm that hit, maybe about a year or so ago in January. And so I couldn't get her into the hospital. So I had to be the hospital. So I'm just saying that in your job, you have to learn, like you said, start and restart. And I promise you, Anna, that's all I did all day long with my granddaughter was start and restart. And that means that I tried this, I tried everything in the cabinet until I finally ran across something my grandmother had told me about, and it worked. But I started and restarted and started again and started all over again. I had every type of herb, you name it, I had it out, and I had books open. I was trying to find out how I could help her, and I did.
Mhm.
And and finally, but tell me more about your business. Okay, Alan, tell me about your business. I know that you have a Facebook group and everything that reinforces it, but what do you do, in your
Yeah.
business right now?
So, oh gosh, I feel like I do too much, to be perfectly honest. So, I'm a wife, a full-time working mom. I have 2 daughters, 6 and 4. My husband owns his own business. He owns a garage door business called McCabe's Garage Door. We're out of Hudson, Mass. Um, and I help him, with some of his sort of administrative logistics stuff. But then I also work full time, like I was telling you, in a med tech robotics firm. And then on the side, I have written my own. I will show them to you because they are just so precious. My own 2 children's books. So
Uh-huh.
this is actually based off my daughter, Betsy, and it's about her living with a dragon and a bear. I'll give you one guess who those people are. Um, and it's sort of all about the adventures of living with, a, a a strange, scary creature, and the personality traits that they have, and how scary things really aren't scary. And it's all about how much they love her, no matter what she does wrong or no matter what they do wrong, because nobody's perfect. And it's sort of about their little family love story. And then I have this book's called The Traveling Teeth. This is a true story about my brother. He
A
fell
true
off
story.
a true story. People never believe me when I tell them it's a true story, but it's a true story. So my brother, he falls off his bike and loses his 2 front teeth. As this actually happens as an adult, but I rewrote it as a children's book. And the dentist gives him something called a flipper, sort of looks like this, to take up the space while his mouth heals. And the family dog snaps it in half. And so he only ends up with like half the amount of suction in his mouth. And so the teeth end up everywhere. He spits them out a car window. He loses them in the ocean. He accidentally throws them away. And then he swallows them. And it's all about the adventure of his best friend, David, and Anthony. It's about their friendship and how they come together to solve all of these problems about the teeth and finding the teeth. And when's the right time to get an adult? And it's all about the courage of being in a odd phase of growth as kids, which happens to all of us. We all lose our teeth. We all have twisted teeth, or they're all coming in at different times. And so that's, they're both very relatable children's books. And then that sort of spurred this burst into social media for me, where I was basically just trying to figure out how to market my own books. And I did it pretty well. I have a pretty big following on Instagram, on my personal page. My business page is slightly smaller, but I still get a very large reach and a lot of engagement through social media. And then I started my own website. I built my own website, and I learned a lot from that. And then I found that as I was joining all of these Facebook groups, I found that a lot of people have questions about the technical side of self-publishing and the technical side of social media. How do I use social media to engage people and build my own community? And so then I started sort of consulting other people who wanted to self-publish, people who were already self-published, anyone who was just running into problems with engagement or reach on their social media. So I started consulting in that aspect. And then I also just recently started a Facebook group called the Indie Author Revolution, which supports all of these contributions that I have. I used to have a podcast called Rough Draft, which actually you would relate to pretty significantly. It was about growing and building a small sustainable business in the margins of your life, but especially as a working mother. How do you find the time to follow a passion, follow a dream, a journey, a creative outlet? How do you find the time? How do you find your people? How do you find your support? How do you do your taxes? And what happens when you don't feel supported at home? I mean, I ran into a lot of issues with that, where, either my husband or my family members wouldn't understand why I was putting such time and energy into this when I wasn't reaping a lot of reward from it, like monetarily. And I said, that's not what it's about. It's my creative outlet, but also I want to help people who are doing the same thing. And maybe down the line, it will start bringing in more money, and I can quit my day job and focus on that. That's the dream, right?
As you get known. But I want to ask you, okay, I'm listening to you right now. How many hats do you wear? And what are some of the hats that you'd want to share with us today? Some of the hats?
I guess I would really love to talk about, so I've sort of sunsetted the podcast because it wasn't bringing me the reach that I needed. So the information is still out there. You can find it on Spotify. It's called Rough Draft with Anna McCabe. So the episodes are still there. But I've sort of sunset it because it wasn't, moving into 2026, I really wanted to hyper focus on my really growing my small business and like honing in a little more instead of just like trying all these different things and just seeing what sticks. It's like sometimes it's just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. So I'd love to talk about sort of my self-publishing consulting that I've started, and also the Facebook group. That's really important. I really want to build that as a technical community where people can reach me and they can ask questions of the group. And I'm really trying to gather really wonderful resources and get them into that group. Some really great illustrators and some other self-publishers who have the answers for people. So they're not just sort of throwing information out onto the interwebs and praying somebody answers them with an answer. And then I'd also love to talk about the Bookshelf, which is my digital bookstore that I host from my website. And that is only for self-published authors of children's books. And it's basically a space for them to have a landing page. So if a self-published author, I found one of their biggest pain points was having a website and social media, and they have a really hard time understanding that it's not, if you want to sell a book, it's not just about, hey, here's my book, it's on Amazon, buy it. You really need to grow a community and understand that community and engage with the people who you think your book would help. And so I built this online digital bookstore where we sort of curate the best voices in self-publishing that, the big publishers don't want to really commit to. And they also get a landing page, so they don't have to worry about building this big website. And So yeah, so I wear too many hats to answer your question. I wish I could just take some of them off and throw them away, but we all know that that's not life. So we just sort of truck through. But yeah, so it's a lot, but you know, I am very organized, and I use every moment of every day to either try to take care of myself, try to take care of my small business, or try to take care of my family. And that's basically it.
Yeah, but I was going to tell you that from what you just described, it could definitely, we could definitely collaborate within the Author Challenge, you and I, and Preeti, and get even more visibility for the group, for your group that you just described to us.
Yeah, that would be
uh-huh.
wonderful. Yeah. Anything I can do to help get the word out. You know, I just really want to be there as a support mechanism too, because I know when I was Preeti, I know you can speak to this between you and your son, but like when you go to self-publish a book, I mean, this is what you have in mind, right? This is your final project. It's like you see it, but this is so far away from just the written word on the page. This can feel years away. But the truth of the matter is if you have somebody guiding you and helping you understand what a timeline looks like and what a budget might look like, and then also helping you navigate the large interwebs that is print on demand platforms, this can be weeks away for you, you know? But it really just depends on your long-term goals. If you just want to write a book and get it out there for people to, you know, enjoy and give it away for free, then that's a totally different goal than somebody who really wants to monetize off that. So
you also help people with who write nonfiction, hardback books, and you also help with that as well. Hardback
I try to stay more focused on self-published authors of children's books, because that is my experience.
Okay.
But generally speaking, when it comes to like consulting on the print on demand platform stuff, that I can consult to anybody on for the most part, because the pattern, not the pattern, what's the word I'm looking for? The process is still the same. But you know, I try to use my experience to guide my consulting. So if there's something that I'm not comfortable with, I would probably try and find somebody to help that person and guide them, you know, based on what their goals are or what their book is.
Beautiful. But I wanted to just, I've got, I'm looking here now. I've got 2 waiting for me, but I wanted to just say this to you. Come and spend some time with me and Preeti, and we can collaborate and bring even more. And we can actually feature them, each one, by themselves, and let that an entire parade circle around them. I mean, because that's what we do. We will do that for them. So just you want to come back, talk to us more about it, we'll be happy, happy to, talk to you further about it. And I love what you're doing. Alan, you're doing a superb job. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. Preeti, I'll see you on Friday, probably.
Yes, we will. See you.
Bye.
Okay, I've got, let's see. Oops. Give me a minute. Okay, I've got, let's see. Let me go with Ricky right now. Okay, Ricky. Hello. Hello, Ricky. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am excellent today. I am excellent, and so just been waiting to hear from you, because I read more about you and did a little research and everything. But I want you to tell us about you and public speaking, and how you, seriously, and how you can help growth. For professionals like myself, how you can help us. I'd love to hear that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I have been in public speaking probably for 25 years or more. I started, like most people, in high school, where I thought I was going to die on stage in front of my whole class. Public speaking is scary, and a lot of people think that it is something that you're born with. Nobody's born with public speaking skills. We are born able to talk, but just being able to stand in front of people and words fall out of your mouth does not equate to public speaking.
I agree.
When I started it as a career in the coaching realm, in the actual speaking training realm, that is when I learned that public speaking is a skill that can be learned. And public speakers aren't born, they are made. And they are made sometimes through trial by fire, but it is a skill. And so I took a deep dive for a lot of years on how to do it, but not just do it, but do it well. And then that's when I learned that other people need this skill too. If you are in business, if you are a business owner, you need to be speaking in public. One of the best ways, fastest ways to grow and scale your business, build credibility, and show yourself as an expert in your field is standing in front of people and talking. Because most people know if you're in the front, you pretty much know everything.
I agree. I agree with you. Because, just think about all the authors that you see. I love it, girl, when I see those are the authors those are the ones that I want to read their books. Once they're, what they show? Boldness, daring. I like bold, daring people. I do. Risk takers. I love that. And when somebody can just, do that and just step out and it's like, you don't have to say you're bold. It's just, I can see it.
Just be that.
You can demonstrate. You're demonstrating it.
You are, and it's one of those things is that when you're standing in front of people, they see you as the expert. So doggone it, be the expert. I tell my clients and business owners when I teach this, you are already phenomenal at what you do. People are already paying you for your skill, for your expertise, and for your service. Now, let's learn how to tell people what you do. Because it's different. I know what I'm good at. I just don't always, I'm not that great at telling people what I'm good at. And that is usually the pain point for a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. I'm so good at what I do. I just suck at telling people what I do.
Did you happen to see Constance Johnson, who was just?
I did not. I just caught a little.
When you go back and watch look at me. When you go back and watch the replay,
absolutely.
I'm serious. When she was on here before you, you need to hear her. I've been knowing her now for a few years, and I've done podcasts and everything, with her. And so you need to really you need to spend some time, because that's exactly what she does. And she said, and she's always said this, Marlene, it's not about telling people what the title is that you. She said people want to know what it is that what have you done already? How have you helped people? What have you done to help somebody?
That's right.
Share
it and show it. When I do coaching and trainings for this, I tell people there's a couple of stories that you need to have in your pocket. Your first story is your professional story. How did you get where you are? And there's a formula for that. The next story is your rags to riches story, because nobody started on the yacht unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But how did you get there? The other story that you want to have is your emotional story. Now, folks think that emotion is constantly crying. No, people laugh as well. It's an emotion, y'all. Get with it. Have that story, because what you're trying to do with your storytelling and public speaking is get your audience engaged, get them to go with you on this journey. Because if you can get them to go with you, at the end of it, if you do it right, they will buy whatever you're selling.
Yes, it will. Yes, absolutely.
Examples that I use is like a pen. Anybody seen The Wolf of Wall Street? They will see where he says, "Sell me this pen." It took me probably 6 years to figure out what that meant. But quick example. So here's a pen. I can tell you everything about this pen. It's red. It's got that little squishy thing on it. There's a little stylus thing on this end. Kind of a neat pen. Anybody interested in buying this pen? No, because you can go freaking buy this pen anywhere. But if I say this pen changed my life, there was a time when I was homeless and I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Someone gave me a chance. This was the pen that I used to sign for my first home. How interested are you now?
And look at what you just did. You told me a story.
Yeah.
A story, a personalized story, one like you said, something that's actually happened to you or somebody else.
Right.
And exactly, and that's what I'm listening to.
Mhm.
I'm attaching more to the story. And the P is now
That's exactly right.
ancillary.
Yes. And that's it. A lot of people, one of the things that I say all the time is data tells, but stories sell.
Oh, please, yes.
It,
Great.
look at your
Absolutely.
commercials. They're selling stories.
Yes, they are.
I think some of the most ridiculous commercials on TV work really well because their story is good and you can't not remember it.
Mm.
It's interesting. And you, as a business owner, your story does the same thing. Bring your audience with you. Show them that you are relatable. That if you can do it, so can they. And it is by your story. We love a good story. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I
I
do. I
love a
do.
story.
You tell me a story. You're right. You got me. Okay,
Me
because
too.
I'm gonna sit there and I'm listening to you, and then the next thing I know, I'm drawing a Venn diagram and diaphragm and putting words in different categories. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm a diagram drawer, and as I
Okay.
listen to you, I think about what I can. I think about, oh, I can do that with this. I think about
Mhm.
something I'm working on, and you're talking to me. I'm thinking
Mhm.
I can now take that and I can
Yeah,
put it in my own
that's true.
format, in
And
my own
that's the
business.
thing. I tell my clients and other business owners, please don't try to be somebody else as a speaker. Who you are is more than enough. You literally have everything you need to tell a fascinating story and build and scale your business.
Wow. Oh, that's
It's
so
not
true.
hard. You know, we think that we have to have this earth-shattering story. We've got to tell it like Les Brown. We have to do it like T.D. Jakes. We have to be. No, you don't. Be who you are. Tell your story. Your story is going to resonate different with your audience than anybody else. Anybody else. Just tap into your story. And that is what is going to sell. That is what's going to make you incredibly interesting. That is what's going to get you paid as a speaker. Don't ask me how I know, just trust me. People want to hear from you, the you, not you being somebody else. Ugh. And for all of
It's
those
okay.
that are
Is that what
former
you do
people
also?
pleasers,
You help big people when you're working with someone. Do you help them to become paid speakers? Do you help them in that area?
sometimes, but what I do for them as a public speaking coach, one of the things I do is I help them get their story together. I help them organize their talk in such a way that is focused and not all over the place. Because one of the things people in public speaking as storytellers, we can get deep in the weeds with the details. It was Wednesday at
Sure can.
3:34 p.m. I had on the cutest pink dress and I was going to wear these shoes, but I didn't. So I wore these other ones. You've lost your audience. So we help them create their story. We help them organize. We help them get their call to action because as speakers, business owners, paid speakers, you can lose a lot of momentum at the end of your talk by not having a good call to action. Because when most people finish speaking, Ms. Marlene, do you know? I know you know this. Everybody listening knows this. What do people say when they finish speaking?
Okay, what's next? Okay, and
Thank
the
you.
audience is asking, what next?
Yeah,
What do I
that
do?
is
What
but
do I do
speakers
now?
lose it. Speakers lose it when they say thank you. Why? Because our brains are conditioned that as soon as you say thank you, what do? We clap.
I love call to actions.
I love a good call to action because not all call to actions are good call to actions. Sometimes they will miss the mark. If you're talking about knitting and your call to action is log on to my training website, and your training website has nothing to do with knitting, what are we doing
Okay,
here?
well, you're right. What does that have to do with anything?
Exactly.
No.
You should be able to sprinkle this all the way through
Mm-hmm.
what you are looking for. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
that's what I do. I help people find your vein, and then now let's craft the thing and let's get it going. Yeah.
so Very, you know what? Very good. And you're right. Instead of saying, hit my website, and a lot of times I challenge people to say, look, if I just discussed something, okay, I'll say now it's your turn.
Mhm.
Now, because I'll even throughout my message tell them to pull out a piece of paper and what I just talked about. I said, jot down your challenge, your question, something that you've been wanting to do that you just don't know it. Write it down, and I have to write it down. And at the end, I tell them what to do with it.
That's exactly right. That is perfect. A lot of times, you said something that another thing that a lot of speakers will falter on is the Q&A part. A lot of us as speakers and trainers and presenters, at the end of our thing, they'll say, does anybody have any questions? They will wait a half a second and then say, no, okay, thank you. And people are gone. I'm like, what just happened? Are we through here?
You know what? No, I'm laughing because I've been in the audience and I have seen that.
I've done it prior
Okay.
to training and learning. I've made that mistake too, because one of the things I try to tell my business owners and clients is that the longer that you stay in front of people, the more they learn about you, the more they like you, the more they're wanting to get to know you. And so here's a quick tip for anybody's taking notes. When you get to the question and answer part, you, as the speaker, have at least 3 questions that you are usually asked on this topic with their answers. And then if you say, does anyone have any questions, and nobody says anything, this is your transition. That's interesting, because one of the questions I usually get when I do this is,
Yes.
and then answer it for them, and then say, are there any other questions? And all of a sudden people's like, oh yeah, because when you transition too quickly into the Q&A part, you're basically giving your audience whiplash, because they have just downloaded this phenomenal, amazing information. And then you turn the corner without a blinker and they're like, wait, what questions? I don't have anything. And when you do that tip and just ask the first question and answer the first question yourself, it gives them and their brain a chance to be like, wait, I do have a question. So yeah, it helps them out.
Ricky, what I'll do sometimes is, you're right. It's when I'm at the point where I do want the Q&A to start, I'll ask a question.
That's exactly right.
I did a live stream once, and some of my the people who were in the audience said, Marlene Foster, you're actually they said you're questioning us. You're there. We're virtual right now. We're virtual, but they say you're questioning us, and I said, well, because I'm talking about content here, and I said I'm looking for interaction. I said I'm looking for interaction, and you're here with me, so you're looking for it as well. So I ask a question, and when I ask the question, and then I tell them that in my position, this is what I've done with that particular question. The next thing I look around, the person does. They'll start to question.
That's right. Yeah. That the death of any good speech is lack of engagement from your audience. Your audience is sitting there.
Yeah, looking at the time,
looking at other people, looking at their phone, rethinking their hair choices, looking at their shoe, all the things. That is the death of a speaker. And one of the things that you all, as speakers, have to do is keep our audiences engaged. Now, there are different kinds of speakers. Most people, if I tell somebody, oh, I'm a speaker for a living, the first thought out of their mouth, or first word is, oh, you're a motivational speaker. Am I though? I don't know.
No, you don't have to be a motivational speaker.
Most people don't know. There are different kinds of speakers.
That's right.
Informational, motivational, inspirational. There is instructional. There are all these different kinds of speakers. But because we've conditioned, again, we don't know. So you know what you know until you do a deep dive and you're like, oh, wait, there's more. Yeah, there's more. Now, most speakers have an element of motivation, but there's a part called transformational speaking where you want change. And each speaking type has a different vibe. There's a reason for it. Because doctors, they are very informational, but that can be absolutely boring. And so they will throw in some elements of motivation. They will engage their audience. They will ask questions. They will raise their hands. They'll get people up moving. There's a lot involved. Like I said, it's more than just standing up in front of people and letting words fall out of your mouth, Miss Marlene.
Mhm. And don't you do you like rhetorical questions?
I
Rhetorical.
do, because they're great interactive tools, especially if you are a trainer or a presenter. Rhetorical is fantastic because it gets your audience thinking. It may get them even talking one to another, which will foster some phenomenal questions at the end.
Mhm.
And it helps them think differently than they otherwise would. Yeah, rhetorical can be really fun.
Exactly. But when you working with individuals, do you work with them in terms of I don't know, setting up workshops or seminars or things of that nature? Do you help them with in those areas, or
Nope.
just
Nope, I don't care where you speak at. That my job is to make sure that you get up there and do it really good.
even if it's a one-on-one, right? That's
Because
right.
it's a one-on-one. It is
Exactly.
because you are public speaking all the time. When you go to the store, when you go to your child's school, when you need your
Yes.
spouse to buy you something that you know you do not need. Don't judge me. I'm just saying. You are public speaking. You are learning to be persuasive. You need to have a point to your talk. If you're just standing up there running your mouth, you may as well be just doing the alphabet because nothing is coming. It is about communication. It is about connection. It is about persuasion, regardless of what you're persuading. I tell you what, I think one of the biggest public speaking connection persuading topics is when men ask somebody to marry them. They have a whole speech. When I first met you, you were the woman I knew you be. Your eyes sparkled like the sun. The diamonds were not necessary. You make me want to be better. And then what do? Get out on one knee. There's your interaction. Will you marry me? That now is your opportunity to engage. Yep, everything. And maybe it's because of what I do for a living. To me, everything is an opportunity to speak in public, whether you're speaking virtually, whether you are speaking in a crowd of 10,000 people, whether you're speaking to your kids to eat their vegetables, you are public speaking.
In your opinion, though, do you feel which would you say is more challenging, though, virtual or face to face?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes.
Which one?
Both.
In your
In my opinion, see, I'm a vibe person. I love the energy of a live audience. That is
I do
so
too.
much fun. It's
I
so
do
fun.
too.
You can play different games. You could do all kind of stuff. Virtual can be challenging because you are sitting and you are glued, if you will, to a box. But yay for some of these amazing platforms. You can play games. There's on Zoom, they have the polls on. There's a game called Gadzooks, and you can put games out there, and people can play games and get points. You can do so many things. I did one training. We did a scavenger hunt online. It was so fun. We were on Zoom, and I sent out on the chat box, everybody, this is what you find. Go, you got 10 minutes, and they're running around their house. Everybody gets up and leaves their computer, runs around wherever to bring back these things. So you do have to be a little bit more creative because it can be more challenging, especially if it's a long presentation or a long talk or something like that. But yeah, you can make it work, but you're gonna have to be a little bit more creative.
Because you're right. Virtually, people can, people you're speaking with, they could be actually grabbing a Hostess Twinkie. You don't know what you do it exactly. You don't. But the good thing about virtual is that they can at least go and they can watch a replay. I love replays.
It depends on the thing. So one of the things, Ms. Marlene, shameless plug, and I'm apologizing in advance. In April, I'm doing a virtual group training on public speaking starting in April. We do this, it's an hour and a half every Thursday evening. So we have to be kind of creative. It's a training, but we've also added things in to make it more interactive but one of the things I do, I don't even say I recommend it. I demand it. If you're going to be a public speaker on a virtual thing, you have to have your camera on.
You do. I agree.
People need to see you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You sure do.
Yeah. And if you're one of those people who's like, I don't want people to look at me, you're not going to be a public speaker. You're going to be a fantastic assistant.
Fantastic assistant.
You're going to be
'Cause
brilliant.
you gotta have it rolling.
You
Because
do.
you do.
Yeah, you are your brand. People will,
Okay,
your name
what about
will be spoken.
recordings? Do you ever have people record themselves?
Oh, all the time. Whenever I do trainings, they have to record themselves, whether it's a 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute. At the end of our sessions, one of the things that I do, I put them in front of a live audience, whether it is live virtual or live in-person audience, depending on the program that they choose when they work with me. Yeah, because we've been working on your talk this whole time. So now I'm going to give you a live audience to work on your talk. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because girl, I agree. You really, honestly, have to just and practice. Like, because I bet you're a practice queen. You said, look, let's go. Get
Yeah.
to it. Get in front of that camera. You know what was a real good way though, Ricky, is actually what about shorts? The YouTube shorts
Hmm.
that you can actually do because it's less than a minute. You can get on there and you can practice doing them. You can do so many per week and get comfortable with speaking to
Yeah.
to
To
yourself.
yourself. Recording yourself can be tough because some people who say, I need a vibe, it's so hard to talk to myself. Is it though? Set that camera up, get your tripod, put it on there and hit record. Even if here's another thing about public speaking, especially in this day and age, it has changed greatly. Gone are the days of you're only a public speaker if you're in front of 25,000 people. Well, not anymore. Now you are virtual. You are doing it in shorts. You are on webinars. You are on all these different platforms. They're all public speaking. But for doing shorts and stuff, it doesn't have to be perfect anymore. You don't need the right lighting, the right outfit, the whole thing. No, sometimes I will do a short. I'm one of those people, I get up and I go to the gym in the morning. So my hair's on top of my head, girl, looking a hot mess. And I will do a short just because. But I want
Just
people to
because.
see
Just
you
because.
are a real person too. I'm not always perfectly dressed. I'm not always
Exactly.
perfectly coiffed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're right. And so I just get, you're right. I just put my little natural stuff on there too and say, okay, getting ready to do this today because I've got this coming up this week and
Right.
I want to hit it. And I just do it. I know some people spend hours and sometimes weeks trying to edit everything. And so I want to ask you about that. What about editing? Because I do run across a lot of editors, and I just people tell me that they really enjoy seeing it natural. That's what I'm told. That
Yeah,
must
it
have
is.
we
Yeah.
appreciate seeing you because you natural.
Yeah, but
You
there's
guys
a
you
place
better.
for editing as well. If you are a podcaster, if you are creating your sizzle reel as a speaker, if you are showing your brand, you do want to you want to do the editing. It's important. I have a podcast, actually it's a YouTube channel. I have an editor. I have a whole editor that does that. And my sizzle reels and stuff like that, those things are edited. But for my shorts and my go lives, that you break out your camera every day or whatever and go live, please, you get what you get. I may or may not have lipstick on, I'm just saying. But yeah, there's a place for editing there, but there's such a great place for you being you. People want to see that you're a real person because you don't want
Yes,
to
they
be the
do.
unicorn who, oh, you're always perfectly coiffed, you're always perfectly made up. Your speech is so incredibly eloquent every single time. Yeah, no. It's okay.
'Cause I love those podcasts where, and you can tell. I mean, they're live, and this is one woman. She does not. You can tell she does not edit. She talks to you, and you're comfortable with her.
Yeah.
It's a comfort that you have. When you come on and she see your name and she hollers out, "Hey, Pauline!" I do. I enjoy people like that who can be authentic.
Yeah.
I love being authentic. And so I
Authentic is
enjoy
another way
all
to
this.
relate.
I don't do as much editing as I used to.
Mhm.
I just try to take my time,
Mhm.
talk to you so you can understand what I'm saying, like you said, and stick to, have a point that I'm making instead of
Yeah.
being all over the place, have a point.
Yeah.
And that's mainly how,
Yeah.
how I do it.
I would tell
But
anybody who's doing shorts You don't have to, they're not long already. They're 45 to 50 seconds max, because anything longer than that is not a short. So you do a short. Especially if you are working on your personal branding or your business branding, throw in at least one tip of whatever it is you do. Like if I go to the gym and I'm doing something and I'm blah, 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 whatever, I will throw out a tip. Hey, and don't forget, everywhere you are, you're always speaking. So make sure to have a point. There's your tip. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's okay
but
to get on and throw something in.
Okay, I just want to ask you if you could, before, because this is as you end here, what would you like to say to the audience? And also, if you could leave, if there's something that you could attach or something, so that anyone who wants to get, in touch with you, they can do that. But if you like to just end by inviting the audience to join you.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate being here. Thank you, Miss Marlene. Let me tell you, everybody out there listening, watching, you are already a public speaker. But if you need some help, if you need some guidance, if you need some direction, I would be thrilled to have you come on with me and we can do a free, yes, girls and boys, free discovery call. You can find me at Stratus Trains. It's STRATUS trains.com. And if you go out there also, or send me an email, reach out to me, I will send you a public speaking jumpstart kit. And it's free for you. We have people buy these things, but you know what? Because you're at least looking, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to send that to you. And follow me on LinkedIn. We always put some fun stuff out there, and we don't want you to miss a thing.
Thank you so much. Ricky, thank you. It was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Listen, enjoy your day, okay?
You do the same. Thanks, ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Last person, of course. Okay. Is Preeti. If you want to join with with Pranav, and then we can actually go ahead and we can end it here. But I'm ready to hear from from your son. So the two of you can join me now, okay? Because this has really been a very great day. The different women who have joined me today and talked about the many hats that they wear. Because I tell you, I understand about, number one, the hats that I wear, dealing with, first of all, family, dealing with, when you have grandchildren, and then again, with my mom, and then even with myself. You always have to see about yourself too. And okay, we're going to go ahead and let's see here. Let's see. Chat. This is a private chat. Okay. I'm trying to see if they're going to be joining. Let's see, joining me. Let's see here. Three people. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm still here. Preeti, if you and Pranav want to just go ahead and join me here, waiting for you. And let's see here. I see. Look here at the bottom. It's trying to a private chat coming through, but it's not. Let's see here. Let me check it again. Studio chat. 3 people. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Okay, here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? So how has your day been today? How have you been?
I'm good. I've had a nice day today. Thank you for asking.
You know why I asked? Because you know what? You look happy. You get that? You like that? I've had a great day. Look, it's good. I'm glad you bringing that. You get that kind of atmosphere here to us. We enjoy that. But just want to, talk with you, and because you are, actually set apart from actually everybody today. We want to hear about even you. You wear multiple hats, and just want to hear if you want to just share 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to share with us, and then also talk to us about how that actually maybe encouraged or impacted your story that you've written. So just wanted to start off with that.
Yeah, so I I'm currently in the 8th grade. I'm 13 years old. And so of course there's my student hat that I wear. I'm a student and I have to do homework and do good in school, and there are other hats I wear as well. So the author hat is the second one. So as you know, I've written 2 books so far, and I actually have those 2 books here with me for anyone who's watching who wants to see the front page. And I also play piano, and I have a YouTube channel. So music is like my third hat, and those are like my 3 main hats. And I really enjoy, like all of them. And we see that they're all different, and they all basically contribute to what makes me me. So
Yes.
as to the second part of what you said, how that inspired me to write my my
Yes.
stories were really based on my experiences, because even though my story had a fantasy element to it, I also tried to tie in with experiences that I've had, or that how someone my age would view the world. And that kind of shows in my books, because in both of my books the main characters are teenage boys, and I would say that they're very much like me in personality. So, yeah, those are kind of what inspired me to write my books.
That's all right. But I agree with you for what I've seen. Just like just reading your story, I could actually feel. It's almost as if I was reading about you. You know that. I did. I felt it pretty. I could feel it. I said, wait a minute. This feels as if I'm reading about. It does. It feels. You did a real good job with the character. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Honest, very good. Because when you're writing though, because let me tell you, actually, what I like to do sometimes, I treat my chapter. Well, it don't have to be a complete chapter, but I take actions and I create scenes like movies. I love to do that. For my writing, where you have like that action hitting a scene and then another. Yeah. Do you ever do that in your writing with this like a scene, like different scenes, sort of like you're watching a movie or something?
Yeah, I try to visualize the scene before I write it. So that's one of the reasons why I put a lot of effort into the characterization process, is because if you have an idea for how a certain character or person in your story will behave, and then you put them in a situation, it's easy to understand how they'll react to that situation. And that kind of helps when you're trying to write a plot and make it sound as convincing as possible for the reader. So, yeah.
Very good. You know what? Very good. Because you know what? Let me ask you this: who's your favorite? You have a favorite author, someone that you love to read. Right now,
Uh,
sir.
my favorite author, that's a subjective, but one of my favorite authors for sure is Jeff Kinney, the author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. The one reason why I really like him is because even though he's an adult, he writes in a way that seems almost as if a kid wrote it, which is intentional because it's supposed to be a teenager's diary. And he also puts a lot of effort into the characterization process, and we can really understand what the characters in his stories are going through. And that's something I really like about him.
You know what? I like his books too. I do too. He's really a great writer. And it's funny you brought that up because I know you write young adult. Your books are
Yeah,
young adult.
yeah,
And
that's
you know what I like about you and your mom both is this. I was looking at the different ways they said that authors challenge themselves. And guess what I saw for novels is this, that authors who step into different genres or the different shoes, like you said, their characters are done differently, just like your mom is doing the same thing, even in her books. So I'm saying when you do that though, Preeti, it helps you to grow. And that's what it's doing for the two of you. Growth comes when you step out and step into different genres and move into a different, like you were saying, like he does it within his books and figurative language. Okay, which now I'll tell you this. I love me personally. I love personification. What do you like? Can you tell me which one of the different figurative languages that you actually enjoy writing with? What do you like?
So, when it comes to figurative languages, one thing I really like is hyperbole, because even though the story, needs to sound real, there needs to
Yeah,
be some sort of exaggeration to it, because
yeah.
otherwise kids my age don't really like to read it, because as I've seen, a lot of kids my age like stories that are very highly exaggerated, and I've actually kind of come to grown fond of it, because sometimes when a character is faced with a situation that they don't understand, they often panic about it and then they exaggerate the situation in the writing. And yeah, that's why I think that hyperbole is personally something that I really enjoy writing, because I really like trying to forcefully add that exaggeration into my stories.
Preeti, what about you? What do you enjoy? Do you have
I
one?
Yeah, I think for me, because it's more of children's kind of book, it's more the personification, right? Like, because it's even human elements, the characters and objects, having maybe the tree stalk or the bird stalk. So it's that personification is more, I
Yeah,
think, not my style, because that's what appeals to little children.
you do, because you know what? Doesn't it make you feel alive? Doesn't it feel Pranav, when you can do that with hyperbole, and you are, it's like you standing right there in the midst with them, and that makes your writing so much more creative.
Exactly, yeah. So when you feel like you're actually living and trying, and you're thrown into the same situation as the character is in, it often encourages you to think, what would you do if you were in that situation? How would you react? And sometimes not knowing that is actually a crucial part to your story, because that lets you like explore all sorts of different possibilities and try to see which one works best for your story and your storyline.
Mhm.
I so agree, though. I mean, Preeti, when you were writing, when I was reading your book, I felt as if you were thinking back, almost like your mind had gone back to when you were a small girl yourself. That's what I felt when I read your book. Was that true? But I felt it, though. I said, she sounds as if she's reliving this, because this was not just almost just a creative image. It sounded like someone who had actually stood in those shoes before. That's what I
No,
that's
so
that's what I read.
yeah, so when I wrote those books, it was like more from, yes, one, how were those stories told to me when I was a little girl is one thing, and two is I wanted it to be in such a way that my daughter would understand or she would relate to it, right? So that's the level I wanted to write it at, so that kids would understand. And like the book you're talking about, it's like the uh, this one, right? Like the Shakti
Mhm,
one. And
mhm.
this one is basically like all talks about little girls. So it's like little girls and how women can empower themselves, and how little girls can stand up for things and do the right thing, be brave, be patient when required. So it it's talking about all those values little girls and little kids can learn. So it should be in a level that they understand and be like, oh, that character is me. So I can be in that place, and what would I do if I was in the park, or what would I do if I was in school and I was in this situation?
We were speaking earlier, and I love what you said, that just and you're teaching your daughter this, and your son already knows this, that instead of the way Western the Westerners do, pretty much, that I grew up in. They're always showing you stories where you're somebody else just magically appears out of nowhere and helps you out of a situation. But you're talking about it's there within you, and you know what you're doing. You're helping them to grow up with that type of mindset.
Yeah,
They're growing up with it.
you don't have a prince or a godmother or a magical fairy coming and getting you out of it. It is you doing it yourself.
And Pranav, let me ask you this: the book you're writing right now. I was going to tell you when you're done with your book, let mom know, and we're going to do something, just for you. Come back with your third book, okay? Come back with it and say, look, let mom, I'm done with it. Ready to get more exclusivity, get visibility, and I know what we did the last time, so I'm ready, and just come back with the third book, and then we can also have the other two books there alongside it, and so people will have is this a series or just separate
Yeah, I'm
separate
trying to work on a sequel for my first book, the very
a
first book I
sequel
wrote.
a sequel Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Okay. Not many people, guys, I notice write sequels. Have you noticed? I see maybe a series or solos, but sequels I don't see a lot. Okay, tell me what a sequel is. What's a sequel? So I'm just letting the audience hear what you mean by sequel.
So what I meant by is that when I was about to finish writing my first book, I was thinking, why should it stop here? Why can't we expand this and turn it into a series, like the series that I grew up reading, such as Harry Potter or Percy Jackson?
I love
Like
Harry Potter.
I didn't want to like completely lose the lore that I had built in this story. So I felt
Mhm.
like by writing a sequel and kind of like continuing the story with a new adventure, I could reuse like some ideas from my old story, like the basic storyline, but then I could use information from that to work out a completely new adventure for the characters that are in my story. And I felt like that would be a better approach than to start writing a completely new book and
Mhm.
to start completely writing a new book, because I
Mhm.
felt like I'd basically be reusing most of the elements that I had already put in the first story, and I felt like there was less that I had to do, and I could focus more on like character development and the plot instead of trying to add elements to the story or try to introduce new things. I could focus more on the plot.
See, I love that. Have the two of you done any book signing? Book signing yet? Have you book signed?
No.
Oh, what are you waiting on? What you waiting for?
So
I want to
I
know what. Okay, Mom, what you waiting on?
no, so I have at least like done like a couple of book readings, but they were virtual, so the signing element wasn't there. And
Uh-huh.
with signing, like I did go and check in terms of us book reading and maybe signing at a library. But then,
Right, right.
yeah, but then with the local libraries, I think you need to go through the system and be accepted by the entire Toronto library system to be able to go into the library and do these things.
Yeah, because the library, because that's where I went, Pranav, with my first book back in 2024. And I enjoyed being there, and people enjoyed, let's see, no, here's my book. They enjoyed, this is mine. They enjoyed reading it, and mine is a co-authored book. It's co-authored, Beyond Boundaries, Thriving in Life's Gray Zone. And I actually I sold books and I signed them, and would ask them when they would come in to buy. I would say, is this book, and I would always remember to do this, guys, is this book for you, or is it going to be a gift for someone else? And they'll say, wow, you are so, then you know what? Then they'll say, you know what? I don't know if I want to just get her. Give me a second one. You see what I just did? I wasn't trying to do it, but it just came out like that. I just said, is this book, for you? And they go, no, but I tell you what, he said, I want one too. So can you sign one for my daughter and then sign one for me too? And I ended up selling more books, but just asking, is this book exclusively for you? And then most of the people were buying them as a gift for somebody else. And then they were watching me and asking me about the book, and they were getting more interested in the stories, guys. And then they said, tell you what, give me another one. Or give me three more. I'm giving those as gifts, Marlene. That's what I'll do. But seriously, Pranav, you need to do some um, public speaking or some kind of appearances? Are you setting it up where he can do that? You know, go to book clubs or reading some type of spot where he can start speaking in front of groups and talk about his books
Mhm.
and like I said, and read maybe a passage from it or something and let him do that.
Mhm. Yes, I'm trying to get him and me, both of us, in terms of the author
Mhm.
side, get more exposure. And
Uh-huh.
we were together on one online book fair back in December,
Yes.
and so we did like a small thing for that. And this is the second time he's on an author panel or an author discussion. Yeah, so yeah, we look forward to actually doing more of these.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you were to talk about the two of you together, that's attractive right there. I'm just telling you that it is because you don't see many people doing what the two of you are doing. And like you said, and your mom told me earlier that you actually you started writing. You started writing. You said first he started writing.
Mhm.
Um, that's it. I mean, commendable. It is truly commendable, y'all. Really. That's why I really want to just see you, y'all come back and say, guess what I did? I went over here and I did book signing because you can start doing some book signings. What about bookstores? You know how bookstores have those little events sometimes? Because I speak to some of them that are here, and they're always looking for people that they can actually set up and sell their books and let them sign books, guys. The bookstores will do it. Bookstores, you said library. The library did it with me, but I know the bookstores will do it,
Okay.
and I would think that the schools would do it.
Mhm.
You
Like,
know, you know,
so,
talk to the school.
yeah, so his school, yes, has his books in the library. Like I think he's even signed up, so that's there in his. And then my books, some of them are in my daughter's school, but then there again, with the sort of specific school board, you have to be signed as a partner with them to be able to go into school and do any author specific activity. So I think like I said, we are looking into the libraries, the stores, but I think I might have to go the route of more maybe private schools or the homeschooling community because I think that may be easier to get into than the public system.
You absolutely because like I said, selling that's great, but to do the book signing would really open doors, more doors, for your son because they'll see him there, and they're seeing you. I'm telling you that it does because when I did the book signing, people were like saying, "Well, do you ever do any you ever come do any public speaking?" I was actually asked right there on the spot. People, they see your book and they really like what they're seeing. They'll invite you. And then they'll tell other people about
Mhm.
it. And I was just thinking, what if the two of you also did some type of, I don't know, some type of speaking kind of, I don't know, live stream of some type or something you could actually do together, start doing, because I think I mentioned that to you.
Mhm.
Doing something, even if it's, I don't know, once a month if you want to start off with, or twice a month or something like that. And let people, sometimes you gotta just, when you don't have somebody that's going to invite you to do something, you got to create it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get create it, create, cause, I mean, because you guys are so talented. I mean, don't have that talent. Don't do that. I mean, you've written the books and everything, but it'd be great. You know what's the icing on the cake? The two of you are. That's why when Jose said, your voice, let your voice. He was saying, Marlene, I'm telling you, I have sold more books. He said, by people following my voice. He said, your voice, your stories. He said, when people get a chance to see you and hear from you, then they'll say, you got a book? He said, people go, you got a book? What are books? Because they just fell in love with him when they met him. So
Mhm.
yeah, you're get it set up, get it started, honey. And I'm telling you, you don't know where you may find the two of you going. You don't. And as if I hear of anything that where people are looking for speakers, And I'll tell them, well, I know of two who are different, and I'll tell them about the two of you. So I will definitely keep you in mind. I
Thank
will
you.
be doing
Thank
that. And thank you so much for now. I'm really happy that the two of you were here to do this today. And tell your mom, you know, to set up the live stream, and you guys get on Facebook. I'm sorry, I meant to say YouTube. You know, on YouTube and places like that, because I know you already have a platform there. So you know what? Put some videos on your platform. You know, do a few shorts or something like that. You've done shorts before, haven't you? Uh-huh. And just
Yeah.
yeah, talk about your books. I say, and like I said, and just tell them, say anybody out there, if you look into for an experience where you blank, 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 and just and then tell them where to come, tell them where to find you. We got. Thank you so much being here with me, and I know it's past the time. I said 4 p.m. It's 4:20 now, but I just wanted to thank you so much for today. Thank you for sharing your hats, and thank you most importantly for sharing your stories. And I'm looking forward to giving you in my book review. But I want to say thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and having Pranav.
All right, good.
I,
Okay.
and I think like I'd like to just leave by saying anything at all that I consider Pranav spoke like resonated with the listeners, then please reach out to us. I am easily found on LinkedIn, and Pranav, his YouTube channel is his name, the Pranav Subject.
Okay.
You'll be able
Okay.
to find both of us easily. We'd love to hear from you.
Let me say this to you, and you will. You will, because I'm running into some, like I said, book groups here. I will, and I'm going to tell them about you. I will most definitely do that, and I will. I've got the podcast, and then I've got this recorded as well. So I will. I will definitely. So when you hear somebody say my name, you'll say, she said she was going to do it, and I am.
Thank
I
you.
will do. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure actually having you in the challenge. Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And I'll be getting back in touch with you with the book reviews.
Thank you.
Thank you.